So, good morning, students. Once again, we meet for our English literature class, and today we are going to take up the next poem in your syllabus, that is The Cold Within. And this beautiful poem and a very meaningful poem is written by American poet James Patrick Kinney. Now, before we begin with the poem, I want to tell you something about this poem. And this poem in particular was written with the intention of using it in the church. It was first recited in the church, and the poem works like a parable. Parables are religious stories which you get to find in the Holy Bible, and very often these are cited in church services. So this poem was first recited in the church service, and later on it became so immensely popular that it became famous the world over. So on your screen you can see a scene where some people are seated in front of a fire. If you count the heads, you will see there are 6 of them, and these 6 people they were stuck in the open due to some reason which is not mentioned, but it is clear that they were going somewhere together. And on their way, as it grows dark and as it grows cold, they stop and they make a fire to keep themselves warm so that they can continue their journey the next morning. Let's see what happens after that. The Cold Within, the poem. The Cold Within is a poem which seeks to hold a mirror against humanity, reflecting how it has degenerated. Human beings have created many divisions among themselves, like class, caste, race, religion, gender, etc. The message of the poem is a simple one. If we keep discriminating each other, the world will surely end in chaos. So that is the message in the poem. Now let us see what the title of the poem says. The title of the poem is suggestive of all the negative attributes that human beings possess. The cold here is the resentment and ill will which we bear towards others. These traits must be overcome, or we shall be consumed by them, just like the characters in the poem. So what is the actual fact of the poem? The fact of the poem goes like this. 6 people were going somewhere. They were out in the open and it was bitterly cold. It was actually winter, and they were miles from the next town or the nearest settlement when it started growing dark. So what did they decide? They decided to make a fire and sit around the fire and spend the night so that they can keep themselves warm and they do not freeze to death. And then the next morning, it was their plan that they will continue once again on their journey to reach their destinations. But what happened was, these people, they were not exactly known to each other. They were strangers basically, but somehow by chance they happened to be together and traveling in the same direction. That is how they had come together. So when they sat in front of the fire, each one of them, as they were walking through the snow, and it is always difficult to walk through snow, especially if the snow is knee deep, so they were carrying sticks of wood. These they were using for support. And when they stopped and made the fire and they sat around the fire, for some time everything went well. And they were looking at each other's faces, and they had their different sentiments for each other. All those things are explained in the different stanzas of the poem, one by one. And as the fire started dying, because you see, a fire cannot go on forever. You have to add fuel to it. You have to add wood. Now, each of them had a stick of wood, but none of them came forward to sacrifice his stick of wood or her stick of wood and put it in the fire so that the fire could keep going. And as a result, what happened? Ultimately, the fire died out. And when the fire died out, the warmth was gone and suddenly the bitter cold affected each one of them, and they suffered from what modern medical science calls hypothermia, and they ultimately succumbed and died. So the message in the poem at the end is that they did not die because of the cold weather outside, but they died because of the coldness in their hearts for each other. So they died because of the cold within. That is how the title of the poem is justified, and that is why this poem seems to hold a moral message, and that's the reason why it was recited first in the church and is treated like a parable. Now the poem follows a beautiful rhyme scheme. We shall see when we read the text. But before we begin with the text, let's see the different important milestones of this poem. So on your screen, coming up next is a graphical description of the important figures of speech that you come across in this poem. So just have a look. The Cold Within by James Patrick Kinney. First of all, it is a lyrical poem with the rhyme scheme of A, B, C, B. What is A? The first line, if the first line ends with a particular word which can be considered as A, the second line ends with a different word which can be considered as B, the third line with yet another different word considered as C, and the fourth line is rhyming with the second line, therefore it is again B. So you see, there is rhyme maintained in the second and fourth line of each stanza, and each stanza has 4 lines. So this is the form of the poem. It's a lyric or a lyrical poem, something which can be sung like a song, so it's called a lyrical poem, and it maintains a rhyme scheme. Second thing, there are 3 important themes in the poem, as you can see on your screen. First is human greed and jealousy. Second is need for cooperation, and third is our common humanity, which must rise above the categories of race, class, religion. We may also add caste, color, creed. All these are actually the reasons why people have so many differences, and for centuries human civilization has suffered because of these reasons. So the hatred of the whites towards the blacks, and likewise the hatred of the blacks for the whites. Or you can see the different religions, they don't maintain the policy of tolerance. The Hindus against Muslims, the Muslims against Hindus, or the Jews against Christians, and vice versa. So this is what is happening always in human civilization, and for centuries history has evidence of such differences, which has caused many wars and much suffering to the human race. So these are the basic themes of this beautiful poem. Now let's have a look at the literary devices used in the poem by the poet. First of all, we have metaphor, the cold within. See, the cold within in itself, the title itself, and even the same phrase again mentioned in the last line of the last stanza is also metaphorical, which means it is a comparison. The poet is comparing the coldness of the weather outside with the coldness of the human heart. So this comparison is a metaphorical comparison, and so the cold within is a metaphor. The second metaphor is their dying fire in need of logs. You can see half of it is down below. So their dying fire in need of logs. This also is called metaphor, because here it is not just the fire which is apparently visible, it is the dying fire within them, the warmth which is dying inside them. They need to put in logs, that is, they need to fuel their warmth for each other. The sense of fellow feeling towards other human beings, that is something which is lacking. And this is very, very apt with regard to the 21st century. The way we live our lives nowadays, we have all become selfish. We only think about ourselves and our own families, near and dear ones. We seldom care for others. Charity is virtually forgotten. Humanity is virtually lost. Somebody gets hurt, is lying on the road, an accident has taken place. People become busy taking photographs and videos instead of helping the injured. And we see an accident, somebody needs help, we simply avoid the scene and pass. This is human mentality of the 21st century. So that is the metaphor used here. Then you have contrast. Contrast is, for example, one opposed against the other. If you have black, then you have white. If you have day, then you have night. So let's see what contrasts we have. The warmth of the fire is contrasted with their cold hearts within. Outside, the fire burning is keeping them warm, but inside they have cold hearts. They don't have any warmth in their hearts. So that is the contrast. Second contrast, is there any other contrast? Well, refuses to feed the fire. This is what causes them to refuse feeding the fire. Feeding the fire in the sense you have to put in logs to keep it burning. But these people, as I told you, each one of them thought selfishly, why should I? Why should I put my log into the fire? Because that warmth will keep someone else warm also, not just me. So I don't want to sacrifice my log. If I at all put it into the fire, it will be only for my own sake and for my own benefit. I don't want others to benefit from it. This is the mentality shown here by the 6 people who are the characters in the poem. None of them, their names are not mentioned, but we know what kind of people they are, from what walk of life they belong. So we will come to that by and by when we do the text of the poem. Then we have symbolism. The fire symbolizes life and survival. Meaning to say, as long as the fire burns, these 6 people will live. But if the fire dies out, then all of these 6 people have to die, because the tremendous cold outside cannot possibly keep anyone alive. It's freezing cold. The firewood is symbolic of the kindness which is required to keep the fire of life alive. If you show kindness, you provide warmth, affection, and happiness to others. So in these difficult times, when we are suffering from lockdowns and you have the fear of COVID-19, there are many kind-hearted people, NGOs, and even the governments in different countries, including India, working to help the ones who are without any job, ones who don't have anything to eat. So reaching out, this is called outreach. Reaching out, even the teachers of St. James have also carried out an outreach program. When you get the new school magazine, you shall see the photographs and the write-up of the outreach program carried out during these times by the teachers of our school. So anyway, we have metaphor, we have contrast, we have symbolism. There are further details available in your workbook. Please go through, as I tell you always, whatever is there in the workbook, everything, each and every line has to be read. Before you even attempt to write a single answer, go through the workbook, read the themes of the poem, go through the title, the note given on the title of the poem, read about the poem in general, read the summaries of the different stanzas as given in your workbook, and also relate to the notes where the words and phrases have been explained for you, or the lines, certain difficult areas of the lines have been explained for you. Now let us see what else we have here. The key points. What are the key points of the poem? If we go through these key points, then it will be easier for us to understand the poem. In your workbook also, you have signposts of the poem. Key points and signposts mean the same. So you can read from the workbook as well. That is why I have not included the pages of the workbook in my video. I have provided you with options which I got from the internet. So side by side, this is for your reference, which can be useful for you. 6 human beings, 6 humans are trapped in a cold situation. each carrying a stick of wood, or so the story is told. The first one refuses to burn her stick. The first one is a woman, the only woman in the group. The others are men. So the first one refuses to burn her stick when she notices a black person in the group. So here there is a very vulgar word used, so I don't want to mention it. You can see it on your screen, but you can say that this woman was a very racist woman. She discriminated because she was a white woman and she did not want to put her stick into the fire to keep the fire burning, because it would provide warmth to a black man, and she did not like the blacks. The second man does the same when he doesn't find a fellow church member in the group. That is, he is a religious bigot, meaning to say he saw that he was from a different parish under a different church, and the others in the group were from not from his own village or parish or from the same church to which he belonged, or the church where he normally goes. So when he understood this, he refused to sacrifice his piece of wood. The third man spots a rich guy in the group, refuses to burn his stick as well because he hates the rich. Actually, he is jealous of the rich. He thinks that the rich, they have lots of money, they don't do any work. But in order to become rich and wealthy, one really has to work very hard. It's not an easy task. This man does not realize that, and he thinks that the rich are idle. They don't do any work and they simply have lots of money. So his thinking is wrong, but he is a jealous person, and this shows that he is poor of heart. Then the fourth person is a rich guy, the same rich guy whom the poor fellow saw. So he refuses to give his stick either, to prevent the poor from saving himself. Now see, this is the tendency of the rich in the world. I'm not saying every rich person is like that, but there are certain people who look down upon the poor and don't think that they should do anything to help them. So this man says to himself that I will not sacrifice my stick of wood because that will provide warmth to this poor fellow. Why should I sacrifice my stick? The fifth is a black. It is the same black man whom the first person or the woman had seen and had refused therefore to sacrifice her stick of wood. So the fifth is a black who decides to get even with the white woman, and so he holds on to his stick, clutches his stick. He is a vengeful victim. And the sixth, the last of them all, there were 6 of them together, is a generic selfish man who never does anything if it doesn't serve his purpose. He was basically a businessman, and he always thought of profit. What will I gain if I sacrifice my stick? This was his way of thinking. See, life offers you many situations where profit and loss should not be thought of. Not in everything that you have in life you should think of profit. But then there are some people who always think of profit. What will I gain? And so this man also does not give his stick. So, the corrupt common man. And finally, the life-giving fire, what happens? It dies out due to their cold hearts. All die, all 6 of them freeze to death. They don't even realize, suddenly they all become unconscious one by one and finally freeze to death. Clutching their firewood like their self-destructive prejudice, they are still holding on to the sticks. They have been frozen cold, but they are still holding on to the sticks, and the cold finally has killed them. Apparently the cold has killed them, but it is not actually the cold which has killed them. It is the coldness of their hearts. It is their prejudice, the grudge they hold against each other, the selfish ulterior thoughts they have about each other, which finally brings about their death or doom. Now let's read the text of the poem. First we'll do a quick reading and then we'll try to understand line by line. The cold within, that's the name of the poem, the first line. Now the stanza begins from the second line. The first stanza. 6 humans trapped by happenstance in bleak and bitter cold. Each one possessed a stick of wood, or so the story is told. Notice that cold and told, the second line and the fourth line rhyme with each other. The first line and third line are different. So you have A, B, C, B. That's the rhyme scheme. Next stanza. Their dying fire in need of logs, the first man held his back. For of the faces round the fire, he noticed one was black. Now you see, in the poem, a woman is not mentioned. Actually, there are two versions of the poem. This version, which I have downloaded from the net, and I am using here to explain to you, this talks about 6 men. No woman is mentioned. But you have to check in your textbook and see whether it is the first person mentioned is a man or a woman. And in your workbook also, you have to check and see whether the first person mentioned is a man or a woman. In the original version, it's a woman, but in the later version, it is a man. So here you see that their dying fire was in need of logs. The first man held his back. For of the faces round the fire, he noticed one was black. The next man, looking across the way, saw one knot of his church and couldn't bring himself to give the fire his stick of birch. The third one sat in tattered clothes. He gave his coat a hitch. Why should his log be put to use to warm the idle rich? The rich man just sat back and thought of the wealth he had in store and how to keep what he had earned from the lazy, shiftless poor. The black man's face bespoke revenge as the fire passed from his sight. For all he saw in his stick of wood was a chance to spite the white. The last man of this forlorn group did not accept for gain. Giving only to those who gave was how he played the game. And we come to the last stanza. Their logs held tight in death's still hands was proof of human sin. They didn't die from the cold without, they died from the cold within. So, a very simple poem written in a very lucid style, the beautiful rhyme scheme, and I have already explained the poem in general to you. Let's once again go through the entire text line by line and understand whatever I have said earlier. So please pay attention. Going back to first stanza. So here we are, 6 humans trapped by happenstance. By chance, 6 human beings were together by chance, they were trapped. In what way were they trapped? They were miles away from the nearest town. They were caught in the open area and it was bitterly cold. And this is an American poem. And they were out in the wilderness and it was freezing cold. So they were trapped in that sense. So they were trapped by chance, happenstance. It so happened that by chance these people were together and they were far from home and they were traveling in the same direction. In bleak and bitter cold. Bleak means dismal, something which is very grey and dull, something which is ominous, something which hints at sadness or death. So bleak and bitter cold. Cold is never a welcome thing, especially in cold countries, because in winter it is bitterly cold and very difficult to stay outside. So in bleak and bitter cold, these people were caught. They were far from home. Each one possessed a stick of wood. Now each one had with him a stick of wood, as I already told you earlier, or so the story is told. So that is how the story goes. In other ways, if we put it, that's how the story goes. Their dying fire in need of logs. Now as I showed you the picture of how they were sitting around the fire was burning in the center, they were sitting in a circle, and this fire was gradually dying out. The initial fire was probably made by collecting some twigs, and now the fire is burning out, about to finish, and then it is going to be very, very cold. So they have to keep the fire burning. Now there are no more twigs available. Whatever twigs and broken branches of trees they could manage, they had put together to make this fire. But now this fire was dying little by little. So the only option they had to keep it going throughout the night, and winter nights are very long, was by putting in one by one the sticks of wood. Not all at a time, but maybe one at a time. At least if one stick is put at a time, if it burns for an hour, then 6 sticks will keep burning for at least 6 hours, and by then it will be morning, and once again they'll be able to see their way and they'll be able to walk, and when they walk they will automatically feel warmer, and that's how, and the sun will come out, so naturally it will be more comfortable. So that is why the need of putting in the logs becomes important at this stage of the poem. The dying fire in need of logs. The first man held his back. The first fellow, he did not want to sacrifice his log of wood, he held it back. For of the faces round the fire, he noticed one was black. And why didn't he put his log into the fire? As I already explained to you, he saw a black fellow in the group, and he did not want to sacrifice his stick of wood or log of wood to provide warmth to a man who is a black. So he is a racist individual. He has this racial discrimination, this feeling of discrimination. As a result, he does not put his log in the fire. Okay, fine. If the first one hasn't put, at least the second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one, or the sixth one. Let's see what they do. The next man, the second man, looking across the way. He was looking across the fire to the other side, and he was looking at the faces of the others in the group, the other 5 people in the group. And when he looked, he saw that none of them saw one knot of his church. None of them, not a single one of them, belonged to the same church to which he belonged. So then he decided, why should I sacrifice my log of wood? These people don't belong to my church. What difference does it make if they don't feel warm, if they die of the cold? Why should I sacrifice my log of wood? Each one of them is forgetting, while thinking this way, that if he does not sacrifice his stick of wood, just like he is thinking that the others will not be able to benefit, even he himself will also feel cold and will die. That realization is lacking. He does not understand that. He thinks that he is not going to provide any benefit to the others, but he is forgetting that he is in the same process actually causing harm to himself. So he could not bring himself to give the fire his stick of birch. What is birch? Birch is a kind of tree, and this was a stick which was probably a broken branch from a birch tree. So his stick of birch refers to that branch of the birch tree which he was using as a stick. Now coming to the next stanza, the third one sat in tattered clothes. From the description it is clear that he is a poor man because his clothes are tattered clothes. He gave his coat a hitch. He pulled his coat up from one corner. He was wearing it, but he just adjusted his coat a little bit. And then he thought, why should his log be put to use to warm the idle rich? As I told you earlier, this poor fellow, he thinks that the rich man does nothing and simply enjoys so much of wealth. So he does not want to give the fire his log of wood to help the rich. Because according to him, the rich people are idle people. Now coming to the next stanza. The rich man sat back and thought of the wealth he had in store. See, this man is away from home, away from his business, and he is still thinking about his money, how much wealth he has. He's thinking about it. And how to keep what he had earned from the lazy, shiftless poor. So, he also did not give his stick of wood to the fire. Why? Because he was thinking, he was lost in his thoughts about his wealth, and he has observed the poor fellow with tattered clothes in the group, and he thought about how he should keep his wealth protected from such poor people, because he does not trust poor people. He is suspicious of poor people. He thinks that the poor can rob him. So how to keep his wealth safe? He is lost in such thoughts. And lazy, shiftless poor, because they are useless, they don't do any work. That's his way of thinking, that poor people are lazy people. They are shiftless, meaning to say they are not active. They are not active at all, and therefore they are poor. Because of their attitude, they are poor. Because they are inactive, they are poor. Because they are lazy, they are poor. This is his way of thinking. So the rich fellow thinks that the poor are lazy, and the poor fellow thinks that the rich fellow is idle. So virtually both think similar about each other. Now coming to the black man. The black man's face bespoke revenge, as we have already discussed earlier. He wants to teach the white man a lesson, as if this is his only chance. He will not put his stick in the fire to provide warmth to the whites. Why should he? Because the whites always discriminate. They ill-treat the blacks. They are so racist. So he does not want to sacrifice his stick of wood. But he has a grudge, no doubt, against the whites. But at the same time, he too proves himself to be very selfish and very narrow-minded. As the fire passed from his sight. How did the fire pass from his sight? The meaning is explained in your textbook, in your workbook. You can have a look in the notes section. But the simple interpretation is that he was thinking, and so the fire which was burning in front of him was reflecting in his eyes. And then this seemed to be the fire of revenge burning in his eyes. So, sudden flash of revengeful thought came and went. If one could have looked into his eyes, one could have seen that flare of revenge. Because they say, your eyes, your face, they reflect what is going on in your mind. So the fire passed from his sight. For all he saw in his stick of wood was a chance to spite the white. So this was his chance. He thought that this stick of wood, I will not put it in the fire. And in this way, I will take revenge on the white. The white will not get the benefit of this stick of wood, which if it burns will provide warmth to the white. I will not let that happen. So he does not give his stick of wood to the fire. Now coming to the last man. As I told you, the businessman, the last man of this forlorn group. Now the poet has already described this group as the forlorn group. Forlorn means hopeless, finished, about to die. There is no scope for this group to survive now. Because one by one, we have seen the mentalities of each person in the group. Now coming to the last man, did not accept for gain. Did not means nothing. This man, he never did anything in his life except for profit. He always thought of profit while doing something. So he would always do things from which he could gain something. So he did nothing except for gain. Giving only to those who gave was how he played the game. So his tendency was give and take. You do for me, then I do for you. You don't do for me, then I don't do for you. See, this policy of give and take is very common in the 21st century, in the present day world, which is very wrong. You should give selflessly as much as you can, as much as possible for you. Don't think about returns. Returns will come in the form of blessings from God. But how many of us think that way? There are many among us who think about, what am I going to gain if I do this for him or her? Am I going to gain something from that? Will I get any benefit? That is our tendency nowadays in the world. We always think about gain, and then only we do things. So this is how he played the game, meaning to say, this is how he always behaved in his dealings with others. This was the way he played the game of dealings with others. Their logs. So ultimately what happens? The last stanza of the poem, a very saddening stanza. A stanza that describes that all of them have died. Their logs held tight in death's still hands. Death has been personified here. Personification. They are dead, but they are still holding on to those sticks, holding them tight, each one of them. As if they are not holding it anymore, it's actually death holding those sticks. Death has made them hold on to those sticks because death wanted to take them all. Therefore, death influenced them with such thoughts. So they were still holding on to their sticks. Was proof of human sin. See what is happening to the world today. COVID-19, earthquakes, storms, global pandemic, and then asteroids coming very close to the earth, and then global warming melting the polar ice caps, Antarctica is turning green, ocean levels are rising, and volcanoes are waking up. Is the end of the world near? You never know. 2020 is a bad year, anybody will tell you. So we have sinned. We human beings have sinned. And now it's time for justice, divine justice. So the day of final judgment seems to have come closer. So this death of these 6 people was the proof of human sin. Why sin? Because each one had thought in such a selfish, self-centered manner that each of them became a sinner. Because religion says, love your fellow human beings, help your fellow human beings. But what did these people do? They committed the sin of thinking in a selfish manner. So this was the proof of human sin. They didn't die from the cold without. They did not die because of the cold, extreme cold temperature outside, but they died because of the cold within them, inside their hearts. They died from the cold within. That's the reason they died. The external cold of the weather couldn't have harmed them, couldn't have caused their deaths. Had they some warmth inside their hearts, and had they felt that they should individually sacrifice their logs of wood to keep the fire going through the night, so that the next morning they could once again be alive and continue on their journey, which they did not do. As a result, the poet finally concludes by saying that they died because of the coldness of their own hearts. The cold inside them killed them. Don't blame the elements. Don't blame the weather outside. It was their own fault. So this poem has a very meaningful message. Don't be selfish. Don't discriminate. Don't be jealous. Don't be self-centered. Do for others selflessly. Think about the others around you. Feel for them. Be compassionate. Compassion is missing in today's world. And so, all of them die. So, that's our poem, The Cold Within. And once again, we come to that scene where you can see all of them sitting round the fire, but none of them willing to put the stick of wood into the fire. The Cold Within by James Patrick Kinney. And again on your screen, you can see those 6 people walking. So with that, we come to the end of this video. I hope you have understood line by line the poem which I have explained just now. Read, as I told you, from the workbook, everything that is given in the workbook, and please complete the question answers in your English literature homework copies. Please complete and keep it ready. When we meet again, when the school reopens, I will ask for your literature homework copies and you will have to submit. So till then, stay home, stay safe. Goodbye.